My name is Sarah Williams, and I'm 39 years old. If you had asked me 6 months ago what my life looked like, I would have told you something simple, stable, earned, solid, built from the ground up. That word, built, used to mean everything to me, because I didn't inherit anything. I didn't marry into money. I didn't luck into a soft life. I carried bricks. I poured concrete. I bled into steel beams and scaffolding. I started at 18, sunburned, stubborn, and too proud to quit when older men twice my size laughed at me. And I stayed. Because there's something honest about construction. A wall either holds, or it doesn't. There's no pretending, no illusions, no lies. I wish relationships worked the same way. I met Randy when I was 19. He worked at a small roadside cafe near my first job site, the kind of place where coffee tasted burnt but somehow felt like home. I remember the first time he smiled at me. I was covered in dust, hair tied back, hands rough and scraped. And he didn't flinch, didn't look away, didn't judge. He just smiled like I was enough. It took me 3 weeks to ask him out. 3 weeks of my coworkers placing bets on whether I'd back out. Looking back now, maybe I should have. We built a life together. Not a perfect one, but a real one. 2 years later, we moved in together. No big wedding, no grand promises, just a quiet agreement. We'll figure it out. And we did. Our daughter, Olivia, came first. Then, 8 years later, our son, Ethan. Those early years? They were brutal. 12-hour shifts, 6 days a week, sometimes more. I'd come home so exhausted I'd fall asleep sitting up, still in my work clothes. But I never complained, because every hour, every ache, every scar was for them. Randy used to bring Olivia to my job sites. She'd run around in a tiny plastic hard hat I bought her, dragging measuring tape behind her like it was a toy. "Mom, I'm helping," she'd say. God. She used to look at me like I was a superhero. That look? I didn't realize it would disappear. By the time Ethan was born, everything had changed. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was succeeding. Senior project manager. Multi-million-dollar builds across 3 states. A house. My house. Designed, planned, and built with my own hands. 4 bedrooms. Big yard. 3-car garage. I still remember the day I handed Randy the keys. The way he smiled. The way I believed that smile. From the outside, we had everything. Private schools, summer vacations, college funds, a future most people would kill for. But here's the thing about foundations. They don't collapse overnight. They crack slowly, quietly. So quietly, you convince yourself it's nothing. The change started about 2 years ago, right after I landed the biggest contract of my career, a $50 million commercial development, the kind of project that should have made everything better. I thought Randy would be proud. Instead, he looked at me like I was falling behind. At first, it was small, little comments. "You're always covered in dust, Sarah. Don't you ever want something cleaner?" Cleaner. Like the work that fed us wasn't good enough anymore. Then came the word I started hearing too often. Refined. Randy got a job at a boutique downtown. Didn't need the money. But he said he needed purpose. Something more stimulating. I believed him. Because that's what you do when you love someone. You believe the version of them you fell in love with, not the one they're quietly becoming. Then came the gym. Exclusive. Expensive. 5 days a week. Sometimes 6. Always coming home. Different. Too polished. Too perfect. Too distant. Then came the phone. That's when my instincts started screaming. Randy used to leave his phone anywhere. Suddenly, always face down. Password changed. Smiling at messages he wouldn't share. Little private smiles that didn't belong to me anymore. I noticed. Of course I did. But I ignored it. Because I didn't want to believe the life I built was already falling apart. Olivia changed too. That hurt more than anything. "Mom, "Can you not come in like that?" she said once, looking at my boots, like I was something to hide, something embarrassing. Randy stopped cooking, started ordering expensive meals, $300 a week, food that looked like art, but tasted like nothing. One night, I came home after 14 hours on site. They were eating sushi. Didn't save me anything. When I made myself a sandwich, Randy wrinkled his nose. "God, Sarah, your clothes smell." 20 years. And suddenly, I was the problem. Then he started changing the house. Everything I built wasn't good enough anymore. The cabinets, the mantel, the shelves, all outdated. He spent $15,000 on a couch that would later become the symbol of everything that went wrong. Our relationship died quietly. No arguments, just distance, excuses, silence. So I worked harder, gave more, tried more, thinking if I could just fix it, he'd come back. Ethan saw everything. "Mom, why are you trying so hard?" I didn't answer, because I didn't have one. And then, Vanessa Cole walked back into our lives. Randy's ex. He said it meant nothing. Just 2 weeks. That's all she needed. I said yes. Because I trusted him. That was the moment. Everything started to fall apart. Vanessa didn't just enter our home. She took it over. And slowly, piece by piece, she took my family with her. I just didn't realize it yet. If there's one thing construction teaches you, it's this. When something feels off, it usually is. And if you ignore it long enough, the collapse won't be small. It'll be catastrophic. Vanessa didn't waste time. Within days, she had a rhythm. Morning coffee with Randy. Mentoring sessions with Olivia. Wine nights that somehow always happened when I was working late. I told myself it was harmless. That I was overthinking. That I was jealous. God, I hate that word. Because it kept me quiet longer than it should have. But little things started stacking up. Tools in my garage moved. Not misplaced. Moved. I'm obsessive about my workspace. Everything has a place. So when my torque wrench showed up on the wrong bench, I noticed. The pool temperature changed too. Warmer than I left it. Lights turned off that I didn't touch. Doors slightly unlocked. Small things. But I've spent my entire life catching small things before they turn into disasters. This felt like a structural warning. So I did what I always do when something doesn't add up. I investigated. Quietly, carefully, professionally. I installed cameras, not cheap ones. The kind we use on high-value construction sites. Full coverage, angles inside and out, hidden, connected straight to my phone. Cloud backup, no blind spots. If something was happening in my house, I was going to see it. I didn't tell anyone. Not Randy. Not Olivia. Not even Ethan. Because deep down, I already knew. I just needed proof strong enough to shatter denial. 3 days later, I got it. It was a Thursday. 2:17 p.m. I was on site, finishing inspections for a major project. Phone buzzed, motion alert, pool camera. That alone was wrong. No one should have been home. I opened the feed, and everything inside me went still. Randy's car was already in the driveway. He was supposed to be at work. Then another car pulled in. Sleek, black, familiar. Vanessa. My hands started shaking, but I didn't move, didn't react. I just watched. They walked toward the pool, laughing. Close. Too close. Her hand brushing his arm like it belonged there, like I didn't exist. Then I saw it. The pool key. The one I'd been looking for. The one Randy said we must have misplaced. He unlocked the gate, like it had always been his to open. I don't remember leaving the site. I just remember driving, watching, recording everything. Every red light felt like it was choking me. Every second stretched too long. And still, I didn't stop watching. They were in the water. My pool. The one I designed. The one I built. the one I paid for. And they were all over each other. No hesitation, no guilt, no fear. That's the part that broke something inside me. Not the cheating, not even the betrayal. It was how comfortable they were. Like this wasn't new. Like I was the only one who didn't know. I pulled up down the street, parked where they couldn't see me, entered through the garage, silent mode, something I installed years ago for convenience. Funny how the things you build end up helping you uncover the truth. I could hear them before I saw them. Laughter, water splashing, her voice, his voice. Too familiar, too intimate. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from rage, cold, controlled, precise. Because that's what 20 years in construction teaches you. You don't react emotionally to disasters. You assess. You document. You control the damage. So I didn't run out there. I didn't scream. I didn't lose control. I set my phone to record, checked the angles, made sure every second would be captured. Then I stepped outside. They didn't notice me at first. Too busy kissing. Too busy pretending they were alone in a world that I built. Vanessa saw me first. Her face froze. That perfect smile. Gone. Randy turned a second later, and I swear, I've never seen a man fall apart that fast. Sarah, this isn't... Don't. My voice was calm. Too calm. Vanessa backed away. Randy scrambled out of the pool. Like water could somehow wash off what he'd done. Then came the excuses. The lies. The panic. You're never home. You don't understand me. This just happened. I laughed. Actually laughed. Because I had already seen the footage. Not just today. 5 other times. Same pool. Same lies. Different days. This, I said, holding up my phone. This doesn't just happen. Vanessa tried to recover. Tried to regain control. You're overreacting. That word again. Overreacting. I turned the phone toward them. Played the footage. Angles they didn't even know existed. Audio they didn't realize I had. And just like that. Silence. Randy went pale. Vanessa stopped talking. For the first time. They had nothing. Get out, I said. Simple. Final. Randy tried to step closer. Think about what you're doing. I stepped forward, and whatever he saw in my face made him stop. Because this wasn't a negotiation. This wasn't something I could fix. This was demolition. They gathered their things. Quiet now. Careful. Like they were walking through the ruins of something they had destroyed. Vanessa left first. Didn't even look back. Randy hesitated. Just for a second. Like he expected me to stop him. Beg him. Fight for him. I didn't. Keys, I said. He placed them in my hand. And just like that, 20 years ended. But the worst part wasn't him. It was what came next. That night, I told Olivia. I showed her everything. Every video. Every lie. Every moment. She watched, silent, expression unreadable. And when it ended, she looked at me and said, Mom, you're overreacting. I felt something inside me. Crack. Not break. Crack. They're in love, she continued. Things like this happen. My own daughter. Defending the man who betrayed me. Defending the woman who took him. Maybe if you weren't always working, she added quietly. That was the moment I realized. I hadn't just lost my partner. I had lost my daughter too. Ethan didn't say much when I told him. He just hugged me. Tight. Like he was holding something together that was falling apart. I'm with you, Mom, he said. And in that moment, that was enough to keep me standing. But everything else? Everything I built? Everything I believed in? It was already collapsing. And I hadn't even seen the worst of it yet. People always think the worst part of betrayal is the moment you catch them. It's not. The worst part is what comes after. The silence, the emptiness, the realization that everything you built wasn't just damaged. It was rotten at the core. The house felt different after Randy left. Quieter. Cleaner somehow. Like the air itself had been holding its breath for years. And finally let go. Ethan and I fell into a routine. Every evening we were in the garage, working on the Mustang, fixing something real, something honest, something that didn't lie to us. Olivia moved out the next day. Didn't even hesitate. Packed her things like she had been waiting for the moment. Went straight to Randy. To them. And just like that, they had their perfect little world. I didn't chase them. Didn't call. Didn't beg. Because I had already seen enough. But people talk. And in my line of work, everyone knows someone. Randy had moved into a luxury apartment downtown, the kind with glass walls, a rooftop pool, and a monthly rent that made no sense unless you actually had money. Vanessa was there too. Of course she was. And Olivia? Right in the middle of it. At first, it looked perfect. Social media made sure of that. Pictures of wine nights. Deep conversations. Captions about finding yourself and living authentically. Olivia posted photos like she had upgraded her entire life, like everything before was beneath her. I watched it once. Then I stopped. Because I didn't need to see it to know the truth. You can't build a future on borrowed money and lies. Eventually, the structure gives out. And it didn't take long. About 6 weeks in, the first crack appeared. A friend of mine owns a restaurant downtown. Called me one night. Hey, that guy Randy? Yeah. His card got declined. Twice. I didn't say anything. Just thanked him. Hung up, went back to work. 2 weeks later, another call. This time from a real estate contact. Vanessa Cole? He asked. Careful with that one. She's tied to a fraud case in another state. I leaned back in my chair, closed my eyes, and for the first time, I didn't feel anger. Just confirmation. Meanwhile, their perfect life started slipping. Randy wasn't making money. Vanessa wasn't either. Everything they had was image, leased, borrowed, temporary. Olivia started posting less, then different. Less living her best life. More vague, more desperate. Anna. No, I corrected myself. Vanessa. She started calling mutual friends, asking for short-term help. Just until things stabilize. They never stabilized. 2 months in, the car got repossessed. Right out of their building parking garage. In front of everyone. That same night. My phone rang. I stared at it for a long time. Then answered. Sarah. Please. It was Randy. His voice. Shaking. We're just going through a rough patch. I hung up. 5 minutes later. Another call. Olivia. Mom. You don't understand. You're right, I said. I don't. Silence. Then she said something that told me everything I needed to know. Vanessa says this is normal. Growth isn't comfortable. I almost smiled. Because even now, she was still repeating someone else's script. You'll figure it out, I said. And hung up. I thought that was the bottom. I was wrong. 3 weeks later, everything collapsed. It was a Tuesday night. Ethan and I were in the garage. He was welding. Getting good at it, too. Better than I expected. My phone started buzzing. Again, and again, and again. 17 missed calls. All from Randy. I almost ignored it. Almost. But something in my gut said, pick up. When I did, I barely recognized his voice. Sarah, slow down. Then it came out. Vanessa had come home early, walked into the apartment, and found something she wasn't supposed to see. Randy and Olivia, together, on that expensive couch, the one they couldn't even afford. For a second, I thought I heard it wrong. Then he said it again, clearer. They've been seeing each other. My grip tightened around the phone, but my voice stayed steady. How long? Silence. Months. Of course it was. All those mentoring sessions, All those deep conversations. Same pattern, different target. Vanessa confronted them, screaming, crying, demanding answers. You know what Randy said? We're in love. Same line, same tone, same lie. And Olivia? She looked Vanessa in the eye and said, things like this happen. I closed my eyes. And finally, I understood something. This wasn't about me. It was never about me. This was who they were. Vanessa called me next, hysterical, broken. Sarah, I didn't know. I let her talk, let her cry, let her fall apart. Then I said one thing. Now you do. And I hung up. After that, everything unraveled fast. Randy disappeared, packed what he could, left town before his debts caught up to him. Vanessa was left with nothing. No money, no reputation, no control. And Olivia? She stayed. For a while. Until reality hit. No more luxury. No more status. No more illusion. Just consequences. A week later, they came back. Together. Standing at my door. Randy looked smaller. Older. Defeated. Olivia wouldn't meet my eyes. We made a mistake, Randy said. I didn't respond. We can fix this, he added. I looked at him. Really looked. And for the first time in 20 years, I felt nothing. No, I said. Olivia stepped forward. Mom, please. I was confused. I held up my hand. You made your choice. Silence. Ethan stood behind me. Quiet. Solid. And in that moment, I knew. I didn't lose everything. I lost what was never real. And what I still had was enough. They left. Again. And this time, I didn't watch them go. Months later, life looks different. The Mustang is almost finished. Ethan's talking about studying engineering, says he wants to design the buildings I build. And me? I met someone. Ryan. Structural engineer. Smart. Grounded. Real. He doesn't care about wine, or status, or appearances. He cares about what holds. And for the first time in a long time, so do I. Because here's the truth no one tells you. You can spend years building something beautiful, only to realize it was never built to last. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is let it collapse, so you can finally build something real.